Hello, everybody. My name is Mike Lagerquist. I'm here at Vine Faith in Action in Mankato, and we've got a great presentation today. It's one of those topics that, as far as I'm concerned, you can't get enough information about, because if it's not something that is new to you, just the reinforcement of the ideas are always good, because it's a busy world. We sometimes forget the little details that are pretty important sometimes in bringing a topic forward. So today we've got Britta Higginbotham. For those of you who are Mankato people, you probably recognize that last name. There aren't many Higginbothams around, but grandmother was Shirley, and that is for whom we are dedicating today's presentation. So that's awfully nice. And mother is Kristen, or Chris, or Kristen. All right. And I think you might be muted, right? Or you were just mouthing the words. But I will step aside now, and Britta's going to take over the screen. And as she mentioned, if you have questions, you can certainly utilize the chat. And I will be muting people. So anytime you do want to speak, you'll have to unmute yourself first. So one of those wonderful things we've learned in the last 8 months is you can mute people. Isn't that great? All right. So I will make sure, Britta, that you are not muted before you begin.
Okay. Hello.
Hold up a second, Britta, you're muted. I think you might have to unmute yourself. There we go.
How is that? Okay, well, here we are. I welcome each of you here today. I am really excited to be sharing this information with you. Personally, I have some passions. I do a lot of art. I'm a very creative person. I've always been really independent in my thinking. I love to look at new ways of feeling good in life, and then also helping other people to feel better in their lives as well. I do a lot of reading, and I want to share a couple pictures here. These are books that I have read. Let's see. And it talks about the topic and the theme of today's presentation, which is gratitude. Dr. Joe Dispenza's information and lectures and books are a lot of what I share today is based on. And then if you've heard of Eckhart Tolle, he wrote a very famous book called The Power of Now. That's something that I read several times back when I graduated high school in 2002, and been utilizing the concepts from that book ever since. So throughout these questions, I had, fundamental wonderings. Why are we here? These metaphysical questions. What's my purpose? Why do we do the way that we do? Why do I think the way that I think? And I finally recently, in the last couple of years, began learning a little bit more about the science behind these fundamental questions, delving into the world of self-creation and self-healing. Dr. Joe wrote the books, as you saw, You Are the Placebo, and I was inspired by him to share this information. I am dedicating this talk to my grandmother, Shirley Higginbotham. I used to be with her at Vine. We'd go to meetings. And as Mike said, she ran the local library, and it was always encouraging me to read and kind of have my own way. And I really appreciated that. I live for expanding my awareness and invite you all to do the same. I'm going to show a quick outline of what we're going to talk about today. And here. Gratitude, mindfulness, and meditation. These are all tools that we will use to create the life that we want. And I will show you how and why that works. We'll look at the science and the truth behind the phenomenon of individual life creation and self-healing through the development of the skills that are mindfulness and meditation. I want to share with you some new objective scientific experimentation that has been going on with this field. We'll talk about the energy centers of your body and how to practically apply this knowledge through meditation. And at the end, we'll have a quick recap and questions for you. If you end up saving a question for later, we'll talk about it then. All righty. So first things first, what is gratitude? Having gratitude means you have an appreciation mindset, or a gratitude attitude. You may have heard people say that in your life before. It's a choice that we make. We have a choice to wake up in the morning. We have a choice to live our lives and go to sleep at night with a thankful energy. We have the choice to be appreciative of others. We can appreciate our environment, ourselves, the incredible abilities that our body has given us. And the place that we exist here is a unified field of energy. Okay, so basically we can look at we can look at a photo here, and we're going to see the personal energy field, which is on the right, that is in communication, constant communication with the energy of everything else. And so your personal auric field there on the left gives you an idea of an emanation of energy that's coming from every single particle, every piece of matter, which is a body, which is a table and a chair. And that is what is affected by our minds, which we will get into later. All right. The more you practice having and showing this appreciation, your overall energy in your body is going to be upregulated. You're going to receive more feeling good and more health. Your active and conscious attention is your inner energy. Wherever your attention is where your energy is. When you pay attention to embracing this exchange and practicing daily routines, it will begin to set your life's direction towards what you want. Another way to self-create is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is conscious attention to how you're being within yourself. It's the act of mental focus, How you're being is a combination of the way that we think, the way that we feel, the way that we behave, and the way that we speak. Any prolonged moods or general temperaments of us based on how we think, how we feel, how we behave, and how we speak is what we call a personality. Okay? Your personality comes together to form your own personal reality. And I ask you, what do you think your personality is? Do people put you in a box and say, oh, that person has an angry temperament. That person has a curious temperament. That person is sad. That person is moody. Let's try to kind of delve into where you feel you are placed in your own mindfulness of your own personality. Having mindful awareness of yourself in this way is a reminder that how you're being, how you're feeling, how you're thinking, how you're acting, and how you're speaking is actually changeable. It's not something that's stagnant in life. We have a choice. We have a consciousness that is aware of where our energy is being taken up and where it's located. And moving to a more intense form of mindfulness, we've come to meditation. Maybe with just a show of hands, because I can see you. Who knows about meditation or who practices meditation? Thanks, Steve. Well, if this is new to you, it's an extension of mindfulness, okay? It's an active mental focus used to further your own self-awareness and training yourself to be who you want to be. You become more in tune with yourself, with your energy levels, and ultimately get to know yourself much better. The word meditation itself literally means to become familiar with. And just like a sport or riding a bike takes practice. We all have built up our personalities over time, as we've seen, and there can be a slight rigidity that takes place, which can make it difficult to really sit down and be present with yourself. Mike was mentioning this a little bit before. There's little things in our lives that take up our time and take up our energy, and we forget to slow that down and really connect. We have these tools, and they can assist you once you learn the skill. It takes a conscious choice, And the hardest part of everything that I'll be talking about today is actually utilizing this in practice in your lives, taking the time to sit down and connect with yourself. You have to be serious about it. You have to really want it. And hopefully I'll give you the background of information which had inspired me to move forward and start with the practice as well. So I want to take a small break here, and I want to talk a little bit about miracles. I want to know if you believe in miracles. Do you think that people can actually change? Has what I said made any sense? Are we really in control? I think yes. And there's a science behind why I say that. Science of the brain, it's called neuroscience. And we can see that with a scientific explanation, we actually can further our own understanding and utilize that to change our lives. We're going to talk a little bit about something that's called quantum mechanics. When I say this word, people go, what? And I can't do that, or I don't understand that. It is simply the fact that the world is more complex than it appears. Quantum mechanics is based on the subatomic reality. Atoms are the building blocks of matter. They're formed of particles, which is matter, and waves, which are energy. Now, I'm going to show a quick photo here. I think we've all seen an atom, right? An atom in school. This is several black lines here on your screen are the electron. The space between the electron and the neutron, which is the center of the cell, is an extensive space. Now let's go back here. We know that they're made of particles and matter. The particle itself of an atom takes up the amount of space of 0.000001%. The other 99.999999% of an atom is actually what they call empty space. Now we know that it's not really empty. They have found that the information and energy within atoms is actually what's holding it together. When two atoms form together, their energy fields connect and they are sharing information. They are sharing energy with each other. It also builds a resonant field. Okay, the energy has a resonant field, just like we saw in the personal auric field. Each cell inside of your body has its own field of energy that's resonating around it. I kind of went through this the way that I went through it, but the point is, most of what we see in our known reality, tables and chairs and people, are actually empty space. You know, we can't look at something and say, oh, that's the information that's there. That's the information that's there. In our bodies, it's a little bit easier because we can connect to the energy through our own energy, through our own creation. So, how do atoms form matter? They have to become connected together. Atoms form molecules. Molecules form chemicals. Chemicals form cells. The cells are what form tissues in your body, and all of these tissues create the organs that you have. No matter how small, they're all sharing energy, and they make up the piece of matter called you. They are forming together because they work better together, and we form together when we are forming with our bodies and appreciating them. Every single cell in your body has a place to be. When the production of a baby is happening, the formulation of the reproduction of cells, each cell that comes could be a liver cell, it could be a heart cell, it could be a vein cell, and those cells all know where to go and where to be in the formed baby. They link up together to share information with each part. And we can live in a state of gratitude for our body, or we can live in a state of stress. Gratitude gives and creates energy, while living in stress is actually depleting the energy in your body and from the field. When we think about the connection of cells in our body that makes up who we are, in nature, we can look at the law of attraction. Things in nature that are alike combine. And for humans, there's a resonance of information. When we think a thought of pain or sadness, it actually attracts more thoughts of pain and sadness. It creates feelings of pain and sadness that in turn create more thoughts of pain and sadness, and so on and so on. A couple of examples of this connection is if you think about a room full of drummers. Every single drummer is drumming the way that they want to. There's no coherence, there's no rhythm, it's all just noise. If you took 4 well-trained drummers and you put them in that room, and they had rhythm, and they had resonance, and they could bring the whole entire group of drummers together back into coherence, into rhythm, and it would sound more like music. There's another example. If you put 20 or 30 clocks that are all on different ticking, they're all in their different times, and you let them be for a whole month, what they've seen in experiments is that these clocks actually start to resonate together automatically. We don't know how it happens, but that is an example of nature creating a level of coherence and rhythm. I want to stop now and make sure that we don't have any questions. Would anyone like to unmute themselves and talk about anything that I've said today? All right, I don't see anything. So let's move on. The next part that I want to talk about is the mind-body connection. I've mentioned a few things about energy and cells and thoughts and feelings, but now let's look at how our minds actually do affect our bodies. We know that the body is made up of energy. They range in frequencies, which is just a level. When I say frequency, I mean level. Is it up? Is it down? Is it medium? Is it the same as the other frequencies that are around it? Or is it different? Every thought you have and every word you say, every word you think carries a level of energy with it. And it affects anything that comes in contact with it. I've got a little screen here to show you. Might have skipped one. So there's our atoms sharing space and information. As you can see, they combine, and the information in the center is what they're sharing. Here we have a photo of the different cells in the body. This shows and proves that they're different. They form together and they make up who you are. This is a photograph of the different brainwave structures. These are different energy frequencies that occur in consciousness. The red beta is a beta wave frequency when you're awake. It's your I wouldn't say normal, but you are definitely alert and conscious. At the bottom is delta. It's a deep dreamless sleep. And so it's more of your unconscious mind. And the thoughts that you have can create these frequencies in your brainwaves simply by thinking. And we'll talk more about the high beta here. It's actually a survival state. So it does say normal here, which is normal when you're awake, but you can go into what they call a high beta brainwave pattern. And it's just like a gazelle escaping a lion. When the gazelle is under a threat, it goes into fight or flight survival in order to protect itself. It needs to protect its body. It needs to protect maybe its kin. It needs to protect its environment, protect itself from its environment. It goes from grazing to fleeing the lion, and then it escapes. Within minutes, it's actually going back to grazing again because the threat is gone. It's no longer in danger. In humans, however, if you live in a high beta brain state, which is survival, which is flight or flight, you are causing erratic and unhealthy brain waves in your mind, and it is very hard to bring them back down to a place where you can actually think clearly, you can enjoy your life. And we are able to trigger this response. Unlike the animal triggers its response because the lion's right there and it's coming after them. Humans can have a memory of something that's happened traumatically in their life. By thinking about that idea and that memory and that experience, the same exact triggers have been affecting the body at that time. Whether the threat is real or imagined, the body will respond in the exact same way. It will release the same chemicals, and you will end up thinking and feeling in a pattern of incoherence, erratic, quick waves that make it hard to live. I have a section here. It's about, let's talk about that. So thoughts and feelings trigger chemicals in the brain. I'm just going to be saying stuff, and if it ends up that you want to know more about it, we can. So that we know that thoughts and feelings trigger chemicals in the brain and the body. If you think about it, our body is like a pharmacy. We actually create and move around chemicals inside of our body that are the same chemicals that they put in drugs for ailments. Any pharmaceutical drug is something that our body actually creates. Throughout the day, we're living our lives. So if you're thinking thoughts and you're living your life and you have energy, your body is subsequently releasing certain transmitters and certain hormones that connect to your body based on the thoughts that you're having. We can become addicted to these thoughts and feelings because they're comforting and familiar, whether they're good or bad. Okay, so the thought creates the chemical releases a neurotransmitter into having a feeling, and then you're feeling the way that you're thinking, and you're thinking the way that you're feeling, and it's a cycle. One thing that I find is when I talk to people about this and I say, hey, you're actually in control. It's not always easy to really take that in and to accept it. But we are in the driver's seat of our emotions with the right information to back it up. Through changing our thought patterns and becoming more familiar with them and the tendencies, how we're triggered, there's another part in science called neuroplasticity. Now, neuroplasticity is simply the fact that different neural networks in your brain can change. You can either build up a neural network that's the same trigger of the same chemical and the same neurotransmitter. If you were to change that thought, the neural network in your brain will actually change. It's going to go to a different responder, a different receptor for the chemical. Okay. So you can get caught up in unhealthy thought, feelings, loops. The way that this phenomenon occurs on a regular basis is that the thought, feeling, you actually are paying attention to it. Not every thought that we have is conscious. They come in and out of our mind all day long. I think they say that you think about 70,000 thoughts a day on average. And not all of them are, you're sitting there actually thinking about something. Things pop into your head all the time. When you have a thought that pops into your mind and you pay attention to it, you give that idea an energetic frequency from your own consciousness, it becomes more real to your body. And this is when I want to say that your body, they call it the unconscious mind, okay? Because it is being trained in. It's been trained in your whole life to look a certain way, to act in a certain way over and over and over. When you feel the way that you think and you think the way that you feel, you become more familiar with that. And you're literally firing and wiring neural networks in your brain that coincide with that cycle. The repeated messages create stronger connections, and you can either continue to structure them in the same way, Or from neuroplasticity, you can begin to restructure the brain in a different way. This is a major reason why it can be very difficult at the beginning to look at your tendencies and actually make changes to create different tendencies. And it's also a very big difference between the human awareness consciousness and an animal. A gazelle in the wild does not have that. They don't think about how 15 minutes ago they were being about to be trampled by a lion. They're grazing, they're enjoying their day. So we do it a lot differently. So I did a quick introduction to neuroplasticity. Neural networks change. They can be altered, they can be added, they can be deleted, depending on your emotional habits and how you think and feel. There is a lot of evidence about neuroplasticity. We can see things changing on brain scans. But right now, I want to talk about something called the placebo effect. Dr. Joe's book is called You Are the Placebo. Now, in normal thinking, placebos are used to test the efficacy of drugs. So one group gets a sugar pill, one group gets the actual medication, then they take the percentages from those groups, who actually got better and who didn't. And what they found was this mysteriously, people who took the sugar pill had the same responses as the people who took the actual medicine. They don't know why this happens. But I'm hoping that we can get a little bit closer to an answer. So what does it tell us? It tells us that if you put your mind toward a certain belief, okay, so these people took the sugar pill. They didn't know they were getting the sugar pill. In their mind, they were getting the medication. The person administering the pill did not know whether they were getting the medication, but they could assume that they're going to get it, right? The person taking it, that's what's the important part. The individual's perspective knew that they were going to be helped, or they had some belief. The people, not everyone takes the sugar pill and gets better. It's the people that do get better that had that belief in their healing. There's something called the reverse placebo effect. Okay. And this is when someone might be misdiagnosed, let's say, for example, with some form of cancer. The doctor says, okay, you have cancer, you have 4 months to live. And lo and behold, 4 months later, this person gets through the holidays and all of a sudden they pass away. Well, the autopsy shows that they never actually had cancer in the first place. And their thought, they're knowing, or they're being told that they had this disease is what brought them to the state of being, of belief, that altered the chemicals in their body and ultimately brought them to where they went. When the placebo effect works, the individual was greater than their body. They were greater than the habits and same olds from their life. They changed and they were greater than their environment to create a level of mind that brought up their level of energy into a new consciousness. It stimulates healthier chemical reactions and makes them healthier. Okay. So another example of placebo, but this is a really fun one. I love talking about this stuff. This is a study about learning to play the piano. One group of people who were learning to play the piano actually sat at a piano and played. And they were being taught, different neural networks in their brain were being formed, and they knew how they could read the brain and see that these networks were being connected, formed neural networks, releasing chemicals in order for that person to know how to play the piano. Now, the other group simply thought about learning the piano. They read about it. They saw the chords in their mind. They could envision themselves playing every single chord. They memorized the chords inside of their mind and imagined actually playing. These people developed the exact same neural networks and chemical releasing that the people who actually played and learned did. Why? It kind of makes you wonder, what else can be altered by thought alone? We know that we can trigger our stress response by thought alone based on a memory from the past. And we know that we can learn by simply thinking about something and changing our minds. Another part of the neuroscience behind all of this is something called epigenetics. I don't have a slide for that. Epigenetics is the study of activating and deactivating the expressions of genes in your cells. I want to say this is a more like recent discovery. You have genes are parts of your cells throughout your whole entire body. They can be expressed in different variations in a single person. Some genes can be expressed and some can be dormant. They're not determinate factors in the individual. They can actually change how they are expressed. When you regulate the information that's shared with your cells through your thoughts, through your energy, the genes therein express themselves accordingly. They're the foundation of what the body could be, expressed in different ways, depending on how they are regulated. This can be either with high energy or low energy. These are based on your thoughts, feelings, and general emotional state. Your genes will respond to that state of being. Science has shown it's possible to change the signature of your genes through repeated mindfulness and meditation practices. The higher the energy of information will be reflected in each system of the body that is affected. And as we'll see, your whole body can be affected by thought. Okay. How are we doing? Does anyone want to ask anything or have me clarify anything that I kind of went too fast with? You can just unmute yourself right on your screen and ask away. Otherwise, I will keep on trucking. So I want to go into my slides here, and just for a quick second, I'll take my own little break here, and we'll
Can I just ask a question?
Absolutely.
I'm curious about behavior modification as a treatment for anxiety. Where does this fit in? Or what is happening in behavior modification? Is it the altering of our patterns of thought?
What I know about that, I would say yes. I think that behavior modification itself is being able to, first of all, understand and acknowledge what behaviors have caused your anxiety in the first place. I think that, on some level, we understand that it's coming from somewhere inside of us. And one of the things, and that's what I say, but I understand I've dealt with my own anxiety and depression for my whole life. I didn't talk about that, but I do understand that there is a level where we can step back and say, how am I affecting this, this condition? If I can accept and acknowledge any behavior that I am contributing to this emotion and this state, what can I do to change it? And that self-awareness really does come from this mindfulness, and meditation throws you right in it. It puts you right into that subconscious, that underlying space that exists within all of us, to find a new way to be, to find a new way towards happiness. Did I do it?
Yes, that's good. That's good to know. So we have to work on altering our own awareness, or change our awareness, is what you're saying.
That is exactly what I'm saying. I think,
Okay.
Yep. If you have, so one thing I could have said at the beginning, I thought about this prior, is an energy of contraction. Okay, when we're thinking contracted, we're alone, we're isolated, we're abandoned, we're what's going on? But the mindset can change, and you can become expanded to think of possibilities, not the same old routine in your life, but actually unlimited possibilities which exist in the quantum world. We are a part of that world. And a repeated behavior in your life might try to trick you into thinking that's just the way you are. You know, Dr. Joe says it like this. It's the thoughts in your mind. Oh, you're just like your mother. You're never going to be able to change. This is the way it's always been. I don't like different. I don't like to be different. I want to be the same. And that's a mindset people have. It creates a contraction within their own energy system that the reverse is simply having a more expanded awareness and believing in yourself that there is a new way.
It means changing that message internally that you keep hearing about your own inadequacy. That's the catch right there, is to try to change that message that you keep
Yes.
hearing. Okay.
Thank you so much, Marlene. Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Here's a slide that I'm just going to go through a couple of the slides. This is an image. Your child burns themselves. This is when you are creating your brain state, right? From a child, if you were you experienced being burned by the stove, you may be scared of the stove. You're going to be afraid of the stove, you know, because you remember, hey, I got burned. It hurt. I didn't like it. And then the child gets hurt. The child gets yelled at, right? And you may remember, you're going to live your whole life remembering who made you cry, who yelled at you and why. Was it my fault? And then you can carry this guilt and you can carry this shame all through your life. Your body, if you're thinking these thoughts of that memory, your body is going to believe that you are in that state of mind, even though you're 20 years down the line, you'll still create the same chemicals in your body. Is this where we're at? We're already at energy centers. Oh, okay. I'm going to come back to that one. I would like to talk a little bit now after I stop the share. That was a photograph of Dr. Joe at one of his lectures. He does presentations and lectures and workshops all over the world. People learning the same stuff that I'm trying to teach you today, and utilizing it to actually heal themselves. But this is when you hear about that, well, self-healing, oh yeah, right. There's tests that they use that are objectively creating proof of the brainwave changes, of the state of mind, state of being changes, and the energetic frequencies actually go up and down, and you can record them on machines. There's been cases of people healing themselves from food allergies, advanced stages of Parkinson's disease, traumatic brain injuries, people who've seen significant reduction or complete removal of arthritic pain, and many other changes have occurred, including shrinkage of tumors and reversing thyroid conditions, which are maybe some of the more common things that you'd think about. Scientists can measure these changes while they're happening in real time. Neuroscientists, quantum physicists, they use specialized instruments to measure the electromagnetic field of rooms where people are meditating, and they can see the change in energy of just the room. You know, you saw with one person had that auric field. Imagine 100 people in a room having an auric field and all focusing their energy on healing. This is quantitative. You can look at it. And let me show you. Which is right here. This is an EEG. Encephalogram is a apparatus. It's put onto your brain. It measures your brain waves, records the brain waves. So on the left is the woman. On the right, you can see there was a change, right? She's in more of delta waves at the beginning, and then all of a sudden high beta. What happened? Why is she changing through those? And they're utilizing experiments, right? So think about a traumatic event from your childhood, right? Bring that up in your mind. What does that do to your brain state? Now, imagine gratitude. Imagine feeling love. Imagine what it would feel like if you were the most courageous person in the world. What does that do to your brain state? The quantitative electroencephalogram here, this is just the record of it. It's not the actual machine, but it records the electrical activity in your brain in the form of brainwave patterns. And we can see that the green part here on the bottom right, let's say that's the before treatment. Let's look at the before treatment. Delta waves are the blue. And you can see once they've reached a high beta frequency, their brain is working really, really hard. And these waves are going up and down. They're very close together. I don't know what treatment, this is a Google image, I apologize. Treatment could be of anything, right? Let's say treatment of anxiety, right? You start in a delta brainwave pattern through changing your behaviors, changing your thoughts, changing your ideas. Your high beta emotional state no longer creates coherence in your mind. You're more balanced. Okay. Let's see. The auric picture I showed you earlier is also what the a GDG measures in a biogenetic field. You can look at a person, shine the machine on them, and it gives you a picture of their aura. All right, so they come in, they test the brain. So this is what they're doing at Dr. Joe's workshops. That's why I know about them. They sit down in real time. They check people at the beginning of the workshop, and 7 days later, they test them again. And the changes that they see are absolutely phenomenal. There's hundreds of testimonials that you can look at. I will share the website of that too. We're finally able to capture objective changes in the body. This isn't just talk. This isn't just one person having a miracle. Within the scientific realm of measurement and documenting subjective changes that the participants report in their health that actually coincide with objective changes within their body. It closes the gap between who people think they are, right? Just bags of meat. I think it's more than that. And who they really are. We are divine creators. We are the ones who create our reality simply by being here. It's something to be grateful for, and it's something to advance. According to Dr. Joe, science is the contemporary language of mysticism, which he's discovered within his work. Science is what unifies us to demystify the mystic with objective reality. It teaches people the scientific model of transformations. How can I become a different person? I want to be different. How do I do that? Today, we have brought in a little bit of the quantum mechanics, some of the quantum theory, to learn about the science of possibility. Combined it with a little bit of neuroscience, epigenetics, and some instruction today with application in your lives. We as ordinary people can experience the extraordinary. So, meditation is connecting to your energy centers. These have been known as the chakras in the yogic traditions and are shown in my slide that I had a second ago. Sorry. Here we go. So, energy centers. Hormonal centers. Okay, at the beginning, so I want to go back just a little bit. We talked about the release of neurotransmitters, which are chemical messengers. It's a chemical message that is released when you have a thought. It goes to other receptor sites in your brain, causing a neural network, and releases hormones. These hormones are then brought to hormonal centers, energy centers, chakras. All of these are the same thing. They are regulated by these hormones. So your thoughts that release the hormones regulate each energy center of your body. They are plexuses of nerves and nerve centers that also do their own releasing of hormones. depending on the messages and information that they receive from the brain through the thoughts you're having, depending on your state of being. These are not numbered, but if you look at the bottom and the root chakra on the right, it's red. This is your basic root energy center. It's also known as the sexual glands. Here it's the technical term, superior mesenteric plexus, plexus of nerves. When you have a sexual thought, that chakra is affected. Can't think of the word at the moment. This is also, if you look to the right, a basic trust. Are you able to see that? You're a very basic root chakra based in trust. If you lived your life and you had mistrust in your life, this chakra might be holding on to energy. It's decided that it's going to take that energy and hold on to it, even though it's, well, it holds on to energy. I can come back to that later if we need to. The second chakra, sacral, that is in your belly. It's in your very low belly, about 2 inches below your belly button, called your superior plexus. It says sexuality and creativity, but that also happens in the first chakra. I'm sorry, I should have had better, whatever. So it has to do with digestion. All right, we're gonna go up to the third one, the yellow one, the solar plexus. This is your fight or flight, adrenal gland, solar celiac plexus. When you are in danger, this is the hormonal center that is engaged. Your heart chakra, it's green, love, healing. It's right behind your breastplate in your heart. It's a plexus of nerves. The heart and thymus gland exist here. The fifth chakra, it's blue. It's in your throat. It has to do with your communication, your ability to speak, your ability to have truth in your life, honesty. If you have trouble in this area, it may have something to do with an underlying, being dishonest could create troubles here. This is your thyroid plexus. The sixth center is, I'm going to look on the left here, the pineal plexus. Okay, this is at the back of your head. It's more in the middle of the brain, but it is on the back part. In the pineal gland, has to do with your awareness. Understanding the pineal gland and engaging your awareness and upregulating your awareness actually helps you take the veil away. We can take the veil of the material world away and actually focus on that 99.99% of who we are, which is energy, it is information, it is behaviors, it is our thoughts, it's how we live our lives. The crown chakra is purple. It's the seventh chakra. Going up is your spirituality, how you can think outside of yourself, how you can connect with people. All right, and that is your pituitary gland. Some people call it the third eye. That's going to be in the center of your brain also, but a little bit forward from the pineal gland. There is an eighth chakra that is kind of explained here with the Ka, and that is what we call the portal of energy. If you remember the photograph here from the beginning, this one, the energy field here, the personal energy field has an opening at the top. Okay, and that opening is the eighth chakra. That's where the energy transference going from your body out to the outer energy field into your body is all being connected. Okay. I think I'll just go back to the real quick here. I will go back to that. All right. So your sexual glands, they regulate the organs in that area of the body. Your digestive glands, energy. It takes energy to make a baby. It takes energy to digest your food. That's why you get a little bit tired after you have lunch. There's energy being in your second center utilized so that you can eliminate. Your adrenal gland, your dominance, it's your survival, it's your power. The reactions on the outside world create an attachment to this inner third chakra. And it can shrink if you're taking energy because you're living in stress and you're using all that energy in other places. That chakra will be affected. The heart chakra is actually going to be one of the most important ones. The heart has been known to release up to 1,400 healing chemicals. Once your brain and your heart are in coherence, meaning that you are thinking in a coherent way, you are loving yourself, you're feeling healed, you're not letting your environment control you. This plexus of nerves will release hormones that are healing to the body. We talked about communication. Okay, so I got most of that stuff. Now your pituitary gland was the last one I talked about. And I want to share with you what scientists have actually learned, that the pituitary gland, your third eye, is a gland that releases hormones. There's a whole list here. I'm just going to name a couple of them, of hormones that are released by your pituitary gland that go to different areas of your body to help regulate different types of different systems in your body. It can help regulate your blood pressure. It can increase the amount of growth hormones that you have in your body. It helps in pregnancy and becoming pregnancy, and then the stimulation of breast milk production. It can influence your sexual organs and functions in both males and females. It helps your thyroid gland function, helps your temperature regulation up and down. If you're someone who's always cold, you're someone who's always hot, activate that third center by putting your attention on it, right? We talked about attention. And when you're utilizing meditation to touch these energy centers, you just put your attention there. You decide that you're going to think about, or it's not even really thought, it's attention. You're moving your awareness to that part of your body and just being there, sending it love, sending it a new level of consciousness and awareness. Gratitude is the one that I know we're talking about today, but it's just so much more than that. And also pain relief. So your pituitary gland, with attention on it, can regulate pain in your body, eliminate it. If I get a headache, first I drink water. Second thing I do is I sit down and close my eyes. I put my energy on my heart. I know that my heart is going to release chemicals, and that automatically creates a coherence through all of your energy centers. It's not just one, because they're all connected, as we know. Every single cell in your body is connected to every other system, and it will create change. All right. Having attention on these areas is an important part of meditation and healthy regulation of chemicals and hormones. They create their own little minds too, okay? That's a little bit more nuanced, but you can think about them as little minds, as their own little people, you know? Why would we want to ignore that? If something in my body is creating me, letting me talk to you right now, allowing me to stand here, having you be able to think, that's your body. And it does deserve appreciation for that. So we talked about mindfulness, having a gratitude attitude. We know that meditation practice is mental focus, bringing your thoughts away from the environment into your body, holding appreciation and gratitude in each of these centers, upregulates their energy and helps you feel better. Yoga is another thing that I hadn't mentioned before, but yoga and realigning your body, strengthening, flexing, gaining flexibility comes from a yoga practice. And then it actually creates longevity in your life, makes you feel younger, look younger, all of that. All right, so let's take another tiny break here. The next things I actually want to talk about are the practical application, right, of meditation. Taking the time for yourself, removing the obstacles in your life, turning your cell phone off, having the TV off. No, you don't even need music. If you want to listen to music, you can. YouTube is an incredible resource for free meditations. You are able to listen to music. You do guided meditations on there, and that's just put your headphones on, sit down in a chair, sit up as straight as you can, and close your eyes, listen, be in that moment, be with yourself. A really important idea through all of this is that I've said that you can upregulate the chemicals in your body through thought alone. To actually make significant changes in your body, it can't just be a thought. You have to actually feel, right? So you're going to be thinking about your clear intention of health while feeling the emotions, joy, wholeness. I don't need to look at my list, but I have a list here. Yes, I do. Feeling wholeness. You're not in lack. In this moment right now, everything that you need is here with you. Acknowledging that will make a change inside of your body. It's the way that it works. Try it. Don't just take my word for it. I want each of you to be able to do this. You can take up to 30 to 60 minutes to meditate. I always suggest just try 10 minutes. 10 minutes a day. That's what I say. Meditate, close your eyes and sit with yourself for 10 minutes a day for 4 days. And you will see something change. You will either feel better, you'll get the phone call that you've been waiting a year for, you'll get the raise that you want, whatever it is. The field wants you to get what you want. And when you show the field respect and appreciation, gratitude in your daily life, the external energetic field has no choice. It has to bring that about in your life. All right, I'm just going to share a couple of more examples. These are, these are examples of people from the workshops, and they're, I think a couple of testimonials too on Dr. Joe Dispenza's YouTube channel share some of this stuff. These are like the ones that are the most like, wow. Okay, so a woman came to an advanced week-long workshop and had symptoms of a bladder infection for the last 6 months. She was dealing with a chronic bladder infection. That is in your lower couple centers, number 1 and number 2. She blessed this area of her body with first acknowledgement and showed it a level of gratitude and a level of appreciation that went beyond the norm. It went beyond the physical matter of her body. She trained that energy center with new information of health, of wellness, of wholeness, of clarity, of balance. And they discovered that within 3 days, she felt better. Every single symptom that she had been experiencing for the last 6 months went away. She learned the information, she applied the information, and matter changed. Her body changed. She felt better. You place the information there. There's already information there in your body. We know that because every single atom is 99.99% empty space, but it's not empty, is it? It's full of information, and it gets that information from your mind. I was just so excited about this because it's truly, truly phenomenal. Another woman had been dealing with celiac disease, a woman or a man, I'm not sure who this was, but she, celiac disease, which is a digestive problem. And for over 10 years, she had a very limited diet. She was sick. She was in and out of the hospital, unable to regulate her hormonal centers. She ended up blessing that third center. It's the celiac center. And the second center is also for digestion as well, but the celiac center is that third chakra, the solar plexus. She blessed that third center, provided coherent information for every other cell in that space to get online with, to take in that information. She shared it with that group of nerves. And I think it was about a week later, after she left the retreat, her blood tests came back completely normal. She no longer had either the chemicals inside of her blood that showed celiacs, and she also didn't have any of the symptoms. She was able to eat what she wanted. She was able to enjoy life much, much more. The body actually recalibrated itself. So there's some words that I'm not using that I could be using. Recalibration, transformation are all of the ways that, that we're seeing the changes, or a way to explain the changes, excuse me. They had a clear intention. They intended to be better than, they intended to be greater than their body. They intended to not adhere to the thoughts they were always having, and change that with an elevated emotion that then changed the matter and the physical structure of their brain and body. So what information do you want your cells to share? What is a way that you can create change inside of your own body, inside of your own life? Your cells are what form your body. And we wonder, how do we want them to understand how to behave? They're doing the work, but you're the instructor. You're the one in charge. You're in the driver's seat. Coherence, based on elevated emotions, love, wholeness, appreciation, abundance, simply thinking about abundance. So this is the funniest thing in my own personal story, real quick here. It was January of 2019 when I came across Dr. Joe, and immediately that week I downloaded his meditations and began doing them every day. 3 days after my very first meditation, I got a phone call from my insurance company, and they said, "Hey, we realize that you have 2 open accounts, for the same policy. You've been paying on both of these policies for a year. We're sending you $800. And I said, okay, cool. Had no idea. My bill had never really changed. Nothing had gone up. And I received a check in the mail for $794 a week later. Now, call it coincidence if you want, but I do know that my ability to sit with myself and connect with my energy centers is what created that money in my bank account. Attention to your body actually creates more energy too. Okay, so I think I might have skipped over this part, but I'll just take another 2 minutes to talk about this. Yes. Okay, now I just lost it. Becoming more energy and less matter. When you have attention on your centers, your center actually emits an energy field. When we talked about the survival mode of the gazelle, or the survival mode of a human living in the same emotional behaviors and patterns of their life, they are taking information from the outside. So you have this aura around you. In survival, you need all of this information. You need that energy because you're protecting yourself, right? It takes information and energy from the field into that center. But your body can't really utilize it because it's stuck there. It thinks it's in a threat. It believes through chemical hormones and regulation of the messengers that you're actually trying to protect yourself in space and time right now. And you become more matter. Your body thinks it's more physical. It's not. We know that it's not, but your body believes that it is, and it holds on, it contracts. It takes away energy from the field. Now, having the expanded idea, the expanded awareness generates energy. When you put your attention on your heart literally emanates energy so that you can wake up in the morning feeling better. You can go to bed at night and get a peaceful, restful night's sleep. You can not get irritated as easily. Maybe you're someone who gets frustrated easily. Maybe you're someone who is accident prone. Hello. These types of practices bring you to a place of more balance, where those accidents and those weird brain farts just don't happen as often, because you're more connected. You're here, you're in the here and now, not in the past from 20 years ago when you burned your finger on the stove or something worse. I understand there's trauma. I understand there's physical trauma, but these do not define who we are. And we are not defined by diagnoses. We're actually defined by the fact that we are creators of our lives through all of these different ways. I think that's all I have. I would love to hear any comments, questions, concerns, examples. If you have miracles that happen in your life, if you want to talk about how, something changed in your life, even the smallest thing, really. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Britta. Yeah, I mean, I know for myself, as you were talking and as I was thinking about this presentation today, there are so many things that I've heard along the way that kind of are peripheral or similar to what you were talking about. And I mean, everything from visualization. I'm a bowler, and there's a 10 pin. That's the corner pin for a right-hander. It's the toughest spare to get. And I used to go up there and tell myself, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And of course, all my body heard was do this, do this. And I would basically sabotage myself from being able to pick up that spare because I was thinking about the wrong outcome. Whereas if you go in there and you say, this is what I need to do to make it happen, that's what your body hears and says, this is what we're going to do. So for me, I've seen those types of things happen on a, that's a pretty small scale, but at the same time, it tells you that there's something to it.
That can turn into something that's very significant because you've already had the experience now. And so you knew what made the change. You knew what made you bowl worse. Yeah. Now we're reverting to a choice of, I know how to get this spare. My body has the tools. I have the training. I understand the mechanics of it. I know physics. I've just got to roll the ball the right way.
Yeah.
So yeah. Does anyone else want to share? I'd be more than happy to also just run a quick 5-minute meditation for you guys, if you'd like. I had mentioned a second ago.
I would like that.
Okay. I had mentioned a second ago or earlier when I was asked about anxiety. Yeah. One of the main reasons why I have created a mindful life is because I dealt with anxiety and depression when I was about 15 years old. I didn't know what was going on. I knew I was sad. I knew that I wasn't happy. In relationships, I had a boyfriend. I was always yelling. I was always jealous. I was always crying. And this tore me down. Now, in a fit of rage, in a fit of sadness, one day I started writing. I wrote, and I just wrote, and I wrote, and I wrote, and I wrote, and I wrote everything that I wanted to feel. I wrote love. I wrote happiness. I wrote security. I wrote, creative. I'm a creative person. Why am I sitting here bawling my eyes out because boyfriend didn't call? It's like, all right, we're gonna step back and actually feel different. And I wrote the words down and I felt the feelings and it would help me. About 90% of the time I felt better after that. I tried medications for depression. It never did anything. Doctors wanted to throw pills at me and they just didn't work, or I didn't want to do that. I'm spiritual. I want to, do this on my own. And that's a lot of what I did was a mindfulness of just creating different thoughts and allowing my writing to kind of bring me there. So I have a lot of abundance mantra meditations that I've written myself that I definitely can be able to share with you guys. Otherwise, go to YouTube. You can type in meditation for neck pain, meditation for loss, Meditation for
taking
grief.
I've been taking a couple of meditation classes that deal with some of this, and some of it from a different angle or a different technique, I should say, which I appreciate because I'm fairly new to this, so I was looking for different methods, I guess. And you're very helpful. I appreciate it. And I wouldn't mind a little meditation. Would be
Good.
awesome.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate that, Steve. Was it Marlene that said she wanted to maybe do the meditation? You guys just stick around. I mean, let me grab it on my computer here really
Yes,
quick.
I would like that. I would
Yeah.
like that. Okay.
All right. Let's see. I'm on two different computers. I'm just going to take a quick second and find it on this other one. There we go. All right, I'm gonna find my seat here so I can sit down with you guys. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter how you're sitting. Be comfortable. Let's take a couple of deep breaths to get into the moment. You're breathing in. If you want to close your eyes, please do so. Try to get that belly breath. How much breath is in your belly that you can let out? Can you exhale to the most of your ability, pushing that belly air up and out and taking in a big inhale and filling that space with new energy? Just to get us kind of going. Keep breathing in and out as big as you can. Watching your mind. Sometimes when you take those big inhales, you can get a little bit dizzy. Don't worry. Stop it if it's hurting you. Otherwise, flow with it. Notice it. What is happening inside of your mind and your body when you take a deep breath? Can you connect a little bit more? So we're taking deep breaths in and letting it relax. Relax your face. Go ahead and close your eyes now. The muscles in your jaw, your forehead, release, and release that energy that's held there. You can let your shoulders relax. You can let your legs and your feet relax. Let your mind relax. If thoughts come in, let them come and let them go as easily as they arrived. I implore you to continue breathing. Draw your attention towards your body. Draw your attention towards the center of your chest, right behind your rib cage, your heart plexus of nerves. Let's just exist there for a little bit. Feel your heartbeat. How does your breath in and breath out change? What does the awareness do? I am profound. I complete tasks. I sit and stand up tall. I stretch my body. I exercise my muscles. I practice meditation. I am free. I am flying. Wholeness consumes me. I practice stillness. I enjoy myself. I am grateful. Thank you. Thank you for all I have. Thank you for all I know. Thank you for all I am. I am fortified with love and perfection. In this moment, the only moment there is, ever was, ever will be, wholeness consumes me. There are unlimited possibilities for me all the time. I am thoughtful. I am talented and creative. I am helpful and passionate. I am encouraging and forgiving. I am loyal. I feel young and free. I am happy and healthy. All parts of my mind and body are working in perfect harmony with all other parts. This is the way things are. I accept the way things are. My cells want to work well. My cells work well when I believe they work well. I work well with my body. My bones are healthy and strong. My bones can carry me in all of the ways that I need them to. I am able-bodied. I can do anything I set my mind to. I live for today. I am in the moment. I am consciously aware of myself and my surroundings. I choose my own happiness amidst the whirlwind that is life. I am happy, healthy, strong, and limber. I am capable, accepting, understanding, and kind. I am unlimited, and therefore nothing stands in my way. I smile and thank the universal energy field for my existence in this place. In this time, I am free, loved, loving, strong, able, young, free. I am grateful for all that I have and all that I am. I accept things as they are. I make peace with others. I am loved and cared for. I am capable. I am a dreamer. I choose my loyalty. I am, we are happy, healthy, strong, and limber. Happy, healthy, strong, and limber. In your own time, continuing your breath, maybe drawing your awareness back up, back out. Noticing any changes. Noticing how you reacted to thoughts that may have occurred. I'm here when you are here with me.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Yes,
I wrote
thank
that
you.
one just I actually broke my leg a few months ago, and I wrote this abundance mantra for that. It ended up being like just words on a page, and I was like, this is good stuff. I'm gonna type this up. So anything, if you broke your bone, if you lost you lost someone close to you, there's ways to encourage the right, not the right, but the thoughts and the feelings that will bring you up, bring you out, and find that appreciation that exists.
Mhm.
Does anyone
Thank
want to
you.
share? Yeah, you're welcome. If you want to share something or just be with it, I don't have your email addresses or anything. I can, if you want this meditation, the mantra, read it in the morning, read it at night. It's another way to kind of just draw in a mindful perspective for yourself.
That would be nice.
Yes,
If you wanted to, I could, if you want to get it to me, Britta, I can share it with them.
Sure. Yep.
Good,
I'll send you that
good.
one. I got one other one that's just typed up. It happens to be near it. Choose one, choose the other.
Mhm.
Yeah, good. I'll do that.
Good,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
And we should mention, Britta, that you've got a Facebook page.
Oh,
I do. I'm Britta J Higginbotham on Facebook, and I started an online sort of health and wellness page. It's called Brain Scrub Wellness. I have been very inactive at it lately, and I don't go on Facebook anymore, but I have Instagram that shares kind of a different, like if you were to get this presentation and then go look at my Instagram, it is a lot of more practical application kind of paragraphs that talk a lot about what I talked about today, but put it more a little bit into real life, not so scientific.
mhm.
So that's also Brain Scrub Wellness on Instagram. So I can get those websites to Mike as well.
Good.
Anything else? Anything that you didn't get enough of, or want more resources?
Well, for
I
me,
was
it's
just curious, I've heard various things about like in your meditation, in the practice, like using a prop such as a candle. I've taken a couple classes from a Buddhist monk, and he frowned on that. He did not believe in that.
Yeah.
And I've talked to other people that said it doesn't matter, and that's the way I kind of feel, that whatever works for you and you achieve what you're looking for, that's the way I look at it, I guess.
Yep, I think I know. I got a presentation by one of those monks as well, and I remember what he said. He's like, "Don't listen to music. You don't need to look at a candle. And Buddhist meditation is different than mindfulness meditation. It's different than what Dr. Joe's scientific meditations actually draw you into this chemical field. This kind of energetic field of which we all exist in the physical world. And from what I know about Buddhism and those types of meditations, you're like literally releasing everything. You become nothing. And Dr.
That's
Joe will tell you to become nothing, because all nothing is pure consciousness. We all possess a place in our reality that is nothing. It sounds eliminatory, but it's actually expandatory. It's just the other side, right? If this physical reality is what I see now, the other side of it is non-stuff, nothing, but no less important.
All right. Well, thank you. We're finishing up right at 3:30, so that's perfect. You planned it that, you sent it out to the universe and then the universe directed you to.
I know. If I was planning on practicing it a couple times, and yeah, we made it through. I appreciate all of your attention. This is the first time I've done something like this, and I really enjoyed it. I loved putting it together. I want to do it more, and I'm gonna look for avenues to do so.
Good, good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Britta, and thank you to everyone who was here today, as she said, and concentrated and focused on what she was saying. So we appreciate it, and we'll look forward to possibly doing something more in the future. Unfortunately, it looks like we may be in this kind of situation for a while. So we're all getting very creative. That's 2 days in a row now that we've done first timers, I guess, for presentations, because I was Open Door Health Clinic yesterday. It was the first time they had done anything on as a registered dietitian. So she was talking, and those, as I think about it now, these two things kind of work well together as partners in self-improvement, shall we say.
Yes, exactly. Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Get a hold of me. You can Facebook message me. I'll put my phone number in. I want to work with people. I'm doing free 20-minute consultations to kind of gear you in if you want personalized meditations, just to talk to somebody and kind of work through anything like a coach. I can definitely provide that. So please get in touch with me anytime.
All right.
Take
Sounds great.
care.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.